have some backloaded episodes, and we need to get them out there before they get too late. So we decided to do a couple bonus episodes in the next few weeks. So this week we have Andy Vincent and Chuck Kasson. Andy Vincent is pro heavy events athlete, pro strongman, pro football player, fantastic athlete, great guy, about to assault the master circuit in pro Highland games. And then we have Chuck Kasson, who was the 2018 World Heavy Events Champion. We got a hold of them at the Arnold this year. We did a quick little interview with them between their events. So hope you enjoy it. Live at the Arnold Classic with, introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
Andy Vincent.
Chuck Kasson.
Chuck Kasson and Andy Vincent. You guys are in for the pro competition tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
Coming in from, where are you coming in from, Chuck?
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Yep, Lincoln, Nebraska.
Man, is there any games there at all?
They have a new one now in Omaha, the Spring Fling, first weekend in April.
I tell you, that's one of the places I've never thrown.
Yep, they just started a couple years ago. So
Hey, you're from Houston, right?
Yep.
Yes. Have you recovered from the flooding?
Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly. We're still, we actually had flooring put in the house. Okay, there you go. Flooring put in our upstairs. They finished up Wednesday. So
Yeah.
we're
God,
down
it's
to the
been
last
2 years, right?
Yeah, 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was death. I remember that. I remember you saying their whole was the whole house flooded? Or?
Yeah. I had like over a foot of water.
What
in the
were
whole
you
house.
close to? I mean, where'd the water come from?
It's a little creek that runs behind our neighborhood. Yeah. It's just rainwater mostly. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. We're right on Lake Erie. We never get any flooding at all, which is super weird.
Well, but yeah, you also live in Ohio, so you deal with ice in winters and all kinds of awful things.
This is about we're about 6 degrees warmer down here than when I left the house this morning, so that was perfect.
Yeah.
So what do we got tomorrow? What are the events tomorrow?
We throw a heavy open stone, heavy weight. We'll use the Rogue sandbag,
Oh, that's right.
and then sheaf, weight over bar, and caper.
Are they actually throwing a stone?
No,
It's an indoor shot, 18-pound soft shell shot.
Okay. GLSA.
AA, I think. GLSAA. Yeah.
Yeah, we just had Beach in here a couple minutes ago, and he was setting up the booth out there. I just saw Nikita walk by, and
Oh, nice.
Jules just got done, and we was talking to Olivia before. So how's the off season been going?
It's good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing. No games during the winter, right?
I did Queen Mary a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first time.
No.
First time.
This is the first
Okay.
that I'll do. So.
Yeah, it was the first time they had pros out there, so they got an invitation. Yeah, yeah.
It seemed like they'd been around forever.
No, that's
surprising.
yeah. The game's been around for a long time. This first year they ever had a pro class, so got invited to go out there and stayed on the boat. And it was pretty neat.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's like hotels.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so they have all the old staterooms. It's an actual floating hotel
Right.
now. Yeah.
Wow. Who won that?
Spencer. Shocker. Yeah.
Big shocker.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how why he hasn't. I mean, it seems like the fates just haven't aligned yet for him to win a world championship. He's got.
He has to go to one first.
Right. Yeah. So Canada won't let you in if you have a DUI or something.
Right.
Is that so fucking stupid?
Yeah. Well, I think he was on house arrest last year, and now he's worried because I guess Canada doesn't want those type of people in their country,
Yes.
which makes sense.
Well, yeah. I mean.
Their proximity to America, it's close enough. I mean, you got to keep the riffraff out some way.
I think they're going to build a wall.
That's a good idea.
So Spencer's down at the Texas-Mexico border, but he can't get into Canada.
Correct. Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. I think he could just kind of walk across to Canada. He probably wouldn't even have to have gone through a border.
I think as long as he apologized afterwards, he'd probably be okay.
Right.
They'd be like, oh, all right.
Sorry about your privacy hedge.
I had no idea that was until he talked about that. I had no idea that was even a rule.
Yeah. Right.
So now you do get the Arnold, and what's up after that?
Got Texas next. Texas Scottish Festival.
Is that a pro game?
Beginning of May. Yeah. Yeah. It has been for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember that was another state where there wasn't that many.
It's the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. They used to have a pro class in Houston, but they haven't done that. God bless. It's been years.
Yeah.
But so that's the beginning of May. Then I go to, where do I have? Costa Mesa after that. No, Victoria, then Costa Mesa.
Oh, you do.
Victoria is like the weekend after, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got three in a row in May.
Chops on Facebook the other day because we were talking about Canadian.
Oh, I
games
saw
and
that.
something Kerry
Right,
talked
right,
shit
yeah.
about. 'Cause I've never even been there. I wish I would have gone there. That was one
Yeah.
game I would have loved to have gone to. But
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
How did you get started in this?
I was doing strongman.
Right.
So when I was an amateur strongman, the guy I lived in Southwest Louisiana.
Yeah.
You know, when I was just getting started, there was a guy who was the what was it? The strongman organization at the time. I can't remember. Any rate, the state chair lived in Baton Rouge, so I would go over there whenever I
You're
could.
from Sulphur, right?
Yeah, Sulphur,
My
Louisiana.
brother actually lived in Sulphur for 7 years.
No shit.
Yeah.
Small world,
In the
man.
Coast Guard.
Yeah. Okay. So I would I'd go over there and train with this guy in Baton Rouge because he had all the implements. Whenever when I was trying to learn all that stuff. And,
Who was that?
His name was Mark Cummings,
Okay.
and he did Highland games as well. So at that time they had a games in Jackson, Louisiana that Kay Cummings hosted.
Yeah.
So so that was the first. That's how I got into it. So the first time I did like the open class in Jackson, the year that they actually hosted North South that year.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Yeah, I never had to do North South. That wasn't even a thing when I
did it
was
once.
throwing.
Yeah. Did it once. I won. I moved on. Whatever.
Right. What about you? How'd you do it?
I did strongman as well, and I was a decent amateur strongman, and that's right about when the NAHA competition started. So DJ Satterfield in Omaha put on the North American Highlander competition, and it was a good opportunity to get into the Highland Games. Sean Betts competed in that NAHA competition with me, the first one I did, and he's like, man, I think that strongman is good for you, but I think Highland Games would be better.
Yeah.
And so I tore my ACL for the second time doing strongman, and made the jump to Highland Games after
Highlander is the best way to get people involved, especially strongman
Yeah.
athletes. Gives you a little bit of a chance to still kick some ass, and then learn the new events and everything.
that. And the strongman events were so light
Right. Yeah.
compared to what we were doing, on the national level, that it was fun.
Well, I run that Highlander every year. I specifically make like the stones a little bit lighter because some of these guys have never touched one before. I remember Jeremy Gillingham's fat ass trying to lift the stone the first time. Couldn't figure out how to do like the 260. I go, you weigh 360. How could you not do that? But he learned. I think he got to 300 eventually when he was coming out there. Did you guys throw in high school? Either way?
Yeah, I shot put in discus, but it was
Shit,
just it was just something to do outside of football.
And after you ended up going to Texas A&M for football.
Yep.
And you played 4 years there, and then went to.
Spent a season in Detroit with the Lions, and then a season with the Dolphins.
Yeah. How was that? What is that like?
It was cool. I'm glad I got the chance to do it.
Right.
I never really thought about playing professionally. It just wasn't what I intended on doing.
How did you end up getting to do it? I mean, you didn't go through the draft, did you? Were you like
I was an undrafted free agent.
Undrafted.
Yes, I went to the combine, did all that business. I just didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
So then, kind of how that works at the end of the draft, it's a free for all, right? I mean, the representatives from the teams are contacting people, and they're trying to bring in guys like me to fill out their camp, guys they're interested in that maybe think they have either they need bodies for camp or they're guys that they think they really have a chance of making a team.
And you were a guard?
Yeah. I played tackle in college, but played guard and center in the NFL. Just not tall enough, not fast enough to play tackle.
Well,
at that level.
what's it like when you make that jump from the college level to the pros?
It's so I played for a decent sized high school. We weren't a good high school program, but a decent sized high school. So we played some good high school competition in Louisiana. And so going from there to 1A football in Texas A&M was a huge jump.
Right.
The jump from Texas A&M to the NFL was even bigger.
Right.
So it's like there's still times in college you're playing against a guy and you're like, man, I got this. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, no big deal. I'm not worried about this guy. I'm going to have my way with him. It was never like that at any point for me in the NFL. Like everybody I played against, even in practice, was the best guy I played against in
Do you
college.
think if you would have stayed in longer, though, you would have adjusted just like you did in college?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think that I was like kind of physically at the limit, right, of my ability.
Right.
I would have really had to want to play football a lot more than I did at the time.
Right.
No, and I was burnt out on football, and I really I would have been an average NFL player at best.
See, and I was way lower than that. When I got out of high school, I got recruited by all the MAC schools at Michigan State. And I remember going to my first football meeting, and I was a 5'11" nose tackle in this football meeting with all these 6'5" linemen. And I just like, I'm good.
This might not be for me.
Yeah, and I was tired of getting yelled at by football coaches, and I was done. Didn't want to do it anymore. And I can imagine. I can understand at least the sentiment that you've had enough of it.
Yeah.
What did you do? Were you did you throw anywhere? Or?
I threw in high school a little bit. I went to a really small school in Nebraska, so I had like 20 people in my class.
Yeah.
And so I threw shot and disc. I had a really good coach my freshman and sophomore year. But after, I guess let's flip that. I had a really good coach my sophomore and junior year, and then not really anybody my freshman and senior year. And so it was kind of teach yourself.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went to University of Nebraska and did athletic medicine.
Okay.
So I got to be on the football side of it from the training room.
Yeah. How did you learn the games then? How did you pick the
Video.
Yes.
Yeah, video.
YouTube is such a gift.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, all we had when I was throwing, when I came up, we had the Ryan Vieira, the VP production.
Oh, wow.
With the yoga music, and you'd have to watch and then rewind it and watch it again. And I can just remember sitting there and watching. But that was a huge benefit when we first got it.
Yep.
But,
Sean, being close to Sean Betts was great. He was kind of coming down at the end of his career as I was coming up, and I wished I would have gotten to throw more with him.
Yeah.
But he was to the point where he's like, I can't practice with you because I want to throw so hard when I'm practicing with you.
yeah.
And then I can't throw in the games that I have to compete in. And so unfortunately, it's kind of like Sean's 45 minutes away from me, but I can't get out and throw with him. So I did a lot of video. Fortunately, my educational background is in biomechanics and
That's a big help, right?
And so
Yeah.
being able to break down video of the throws of good throwers and then kind of try to apply that to myself.
Yeah, that's got to be huge. I mean, because if you don't have that eye,
Yeah.
you're never going to get it. How did you learn the events, Andy?
Really, so throwing with my brother Matt.
Did he get in first before you?
Well, we got into the same thing. So I got into strongman. And I introduced him the same guy that I got into the game strongman. He, with his track back, he tried strongman also and did that for a little while, but he took more naturally to the games with his track background.
Didn't he do some strongman competition where he dressed in a
luchador mask?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Steve Pulcinella saying that some fat kid came out of the crowd in a lucha libre mask and just beat everybody, and all these strongmen were all pissed off at him.
Yeah. So so that was when we did in Dallas, and it actually was like the lightweight America's Strongest Man or something like that.
Right.
And those guys were not happy.
That's what Pulcinella said.
Yeah, they didn't have much of a sense of humor. Yeah.
Nobody in strongman does.
Right.
Not that level.
No.
Yeah,
It was glorious.
Strongman is. It's a difficult. It was a difficult vibe when I retired from Highland games and went into strongman. I had my competitive thing in Highland games. I went to strongman. I just wanted to fuck around.
Yeah.
I remember going to nationals the first time, and one guy who was picked to win our class, and he was like, I was a 240 guy, and they didn't have my class, so I had to go with the super heavyweights. And we're doing a deadlift, and it was a 600-pound 18-inch deadlift for reps. And I ran out there, and I think I did like 8 or 9 reps or something. I came back, and he's like, how many reps did you do? I said 16. And he was just like, what? And then he found out I was fucking with him. He was so mad at me. I was like, dude, this is what we do. We just fuck with each other, right?
Settle down, bud. It's
I
going
guess
to be okay.
not in this sport.
No.
Just a bunch of dudes mean mugging each other across the room
all
all
day.
day.
It's not as bad as powerlifting. Powerlifting is...
I've never done that.
I've been to a couple of competitions, and nobody's playing around. There's no they're pretty serious guys for not any money on the table. Isn't that funny? We always had cash on the table and no one gave a fuck.
Right.
We were just screwing around the whole time.
I just think I don't know, it's just different. It's a different atmosphere. And it's always a festival or something like that, and it's way more of an entertainment vibe than it is, an actual competition.
Yeah.
Like we joke around with, it's not a real sport.
Yeah. It's not.
Don't tell anybody.
Right, exactly.
It's not a
Shit, was I not supposed to say that?
Non-real sport in strength athletics, and it's the only one that has decent money.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
We were just talking to Olivia about paying the women and how they're trying to figure out how to get a pro women's class, but you could end up shooting yourself in the foot if you say, well, to go to the world championships, you can only throw at pro women events like we have, when there's no establish pro women's events, and then
Right.
you screw yourself out of games. And then some women say, "Oh, screw you! I'm just going to go throw at all these games you're not throwing at and win championships."
Right.
It's a tough call to make, and I don't know what the route is there, other than establishing where the only way to get to a world championships is if you throw at a women's pro world, competition where the marks are going to count.
Yeah. And I thought that was interesting. That kind of came about was a year before last with Enumclaw. North American Championships at Enumclaw, when they actually went in and really evaluated where some of these numbers were coming from.
Yep. Right.
And there were a bunch of people who got their feelings hurt.
Yep.
And rightfully
Yeah.
so, because you've got guys that never leave 20 mile radius from their house,
Right.
and throw these big numbers, and then would show up at big time games and just.
Well, when they went to the Celtic rankings, that was one of the stipulations.
Yep.
Was it had to have so many guys in your field, so many pros in your field, and
So much prize money.
Yeah.
so much
Yep.
prize money. I think it was even like they had to have bands and other things there.
Yeah.
It had to be an official festival because you were having backyard games. I remember Carrie threw in some. They used to have some backyard games, Dave Little's games or something, where they basically throw off a cliff and you get like 90-foot 28 throws.
It was obvious. It was the same dudes every year that
Right.
they were showing up with numbers, and they would, they're finishing the,
Yep.
qualifying, mid to upper pack, and,
Yep.
and always finishing in the bottom of the pack.
Yep.
I'm like, man,
I always had to.
Come on.
I mean, I was clawing tooth and nail to get into the Classic every year. It was just like caber points and just trying to hit a focus on one event per game. So I know there's a great 28 in this game. I'm just going to get after it. I don't care.
You got
what
to take
the
it
rest-
easy on a couple of the other events. Get
I
heat
don't
up
care
for
what
the
the rest
28.
happens. I'm just going to kill
It's
this
the
stone
numbers.
because it's a
Yep.
perfect
Right, yeah.
stone. That's how I got in. And people would always wonder. I was like, I placed 5th at that games, but I got a big enough 28 to get me up to the rankings.
right?
That's where the big money was. I didn't buy my wife's engagement ring, my last Celtic class.
That's awesome.
I have
Perfect.
to throw
That's
get
awesome.
top 10 or top 8 in order to get enough money to get it. So,
That's great.
did you guys both go to Celtic last year?
I've only been to Celtic once.
Yeah.
I haven't been since.
Yep.
12? 12.
That's
Yeah.
where.
Yeah.
I remember. I think you were.
Yeah,
there with
you were
and
there.
your brother.
Yep, that was my first year as a pro.
Was that the year Matt fucked up in the weight for height?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
So he was so miserable.
Oh,
he got
yeah.
so drunk.
Oh yeah.
He was in the driver's seat.
Oh yeah.
It
Like
was
I had a considerable
not
lead.
choke. And
Right.
he's not a choker.
It
No,
was just
not at
didn't
all.
you have to clear 16 feet? It was all it was,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
I think
He missed his
get a
opener.
height.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember that.
He bombed out at 14.
That story that after that whole offseason, all he did was throw weight for height like 16 feet.
Yeah.
Until he could hit it in his sleep.
Yeah.
Well, he was sitting right next to me in that event, and he went up and threw 14 feet and kind of giggled it off on the last one, and then he went up to
Yeah.
do the second one, and he missed it again. And
Yeah.
then he could
Then like
just,
nobody.
that's
Yeah.
what-
Within, after that, you can't look
No,
at him,
yeah,
right?
that's
You know,
the pressure.
it gets weird.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
fuck.
right.
Yeah, you do. That's pressure. That
Yeah.
third
Yeah, man.
attempt, 2 misses. That
Yeah.
happened to me the last year that I won it.
Yeah.
I won it last year, and I just about bombed on the sheaf.
Yeah.
It was opening height, whatever. We came in at 25, or I can't remember what it was, and I missed my first 2 attempts, and Tennyson missed on his last one, so he bombed out on it right before I went up there.
Yeah.
Did they still throw on the lift with
Yeah.
the janky bar?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's crazy. You
I
can't
hate
tell
that.
where it is,
Right.
you know.
It's hard to
Yeah.
line up.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. I've never been so nervous for an attempt in my entire
Right.
life. In my entire career of throwing or strongman or anything,
Yeah.
that attempt at opening height in the sheaf just killed me.
I always threw the weights and the stones good there, but the height events were always sketchy because
Yep.
of that bar. And then the hammer, where if you didn't throw, you had to throw like 105 feet
Oh,
to
yeah,
get
to get over the
crest
hill.
of that
Right.
hill,
Yep,
and
yep.
then you got a good throw, you know. And I was always throwing like 90 footers into the side of the hill.
Yep.
Never worked out well, but they treated you well, and
Oh, it's a great
Oh, yeah.
game.
yeah.
Yep.
What's the good one now to go to? I mean, what's your guys' favorites ones to go to?
I mean, Celtic is still up there for me as,
Yeah.
as the top one. Pleasanton's great.
Yeah,
Loon.
Pleasant's great. Yeah, Loon's a ton of fun. They treat us like kings up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still like Enumclaw.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like my
Claw's
first big
great.
game.
But Wally doesn't run Enumclaw anymore, right?
But even while he was there, I mean, it was Wally World. You know, you
was-
knew what you were getting
Yeah,
into. You know, it was
it was always funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. I mean, you knew there was always going to be some shit to deal with, but it was going, it was going, and you got to work the crowd in the arena, and it was, staying in the shitty hotel and taking over the courtyard, and it was always, there was things about it that made it fun.
White hotel with the courtyard in the middle. But with Wally, man, it was he was like Sarge up in Wisconsin. Sarge was the same way. You never knew how many beers they'd had or how many.
Wally was by the end of the game. Wally was waxed.
Right.
I mean, he was done by lunch most days.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, we joke about it constantly. That these are the best guys that we could get here this weekend.
And
Wally said it on microphone.
Every
right?
time.
Yeah.
Did he do it to you guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God, yeah. That was me and Kerry were sitting there, and he said that in our heads. He would say, "These are your top 10 or top 12 Highland Games athletes in the North America that were available this weekend." And all of us were like, what? Right, Wally?
Yeah.
He would, and then he would like lose all your flight information, so he wouldn't know what to pay you. So you'd have to go and like print out your boarding passes, and Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I won that one in 2013. So I always make a point to thank the ADs after the games and all the business. So the next year, games are over with, placing's done. I say, hey, Wally, thanks for having me out. I had a great time. It's an honor as always. And he looks at me and goes, who are you again?
Yeah, that always makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. It's a screwy setup there too, right? I mean, that's what you were saying with the rankings to get in there, and it's open. It's not pro, right? So,
yeah. So which is, that really doesn't bother me.
Right.
And you mentioned the deal with the women's games, and maybe that's the answer for that. Maybe it's getting away from the pro versus amateur, versus elite, like everywhere else in the world does.
Right.
And make it just about, okay, well, hey, you're the best top 10 throwers. You can come, and if you place well, you get some money.
That were available that weekend.
That were available,
I'm
exactly.
all for that. Just invite the top 10 guys regardless. And forget about the classification.
Yeah. So actually, the first time I went, Matt and I went, and it was you and KO were throwing. HB3 was there. So that was we were still amateurs,
really?
Technically amateurs. Yeah, in 2012.
Were we dicks to you?
No more than usual. I mean, no more than you have been ever since.
Right. I was an amateur when you were. But that's interesting though, because you came up. You kind of straddled the two classes of throwers. So when you and Matt and Dan were coming up, me and Kerry and Craig were still throwing. You still had Ryan Vieira. You still had HB3. Larry Brock, and then we all retired, and then you have the new class now. So you got to kind of straddle both
Well,
worlds.
see that games like that one in Celtic, that kind of 2012, 2013 was kind of like a changing of the guard.
Yeah,
was how it seemed.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what we're looking at, now. Like again, there's some really talented young guys coming up.
Yeah.
This is it for me. This is my last year.
What are you going to do now? Are you going to go Masters or?
I'll throw some Masters games. That's really, hopefully, we'll throw my first Masters game in Loon. Because they're going to host the World Championships at Loon this year, the Webster's Worlds.
Right.
And so I would
we still
really
have
hope
two
to throw.
World Championships? We're just down to one?
Well, it's ISGF is like a semi-annual World Championship.
They don't even do pro anymore.
Oh, they're just done.
They just focus on AM.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, at least we're not pretending that it's a real thing anymore.
No.
That's
Well,
good.
I'm just glad there's not 6 World Championships.
Right. So there's the
just
Websters
the
and then SGA, I guess. Don't tell the Scots that that's not a real thing.
Yeah, well, they should have taken the reins. They should have just taken the reins and made it a real World Championships. That's their fault for doing that. I always thought the SGA should have the World Championships. You go to Scotland and have it. What the hell?
It's not a real sport.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it great.
Yeah. You're right. It's
really
part
does.
of the it's part of the appeal. But man, I mean, the guys, David Webster and Bill Crawford and Steve Conway and that group that's been a part of that one, they've been amazing. I mean, I think they've done a fantastic job with that one. We both, had been fortunate enough to be a part of that one a few times.
Well, maybe it was a good thing that the IHGF and Webster split. I know the IHGF runs that. Have you seen that World Stone Lifting?
Yeah.
That seems awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They should do more things like that. I don't know. I know there was especially for me. I had a lot of problems with the IHGF, and I think a lot of people in our class of athletes had a lot of problems with it. But stick to your wheelhouse and do what you do well. And they do that stones to strength competition really, really well. Whereas if they were to stay and do like a semi-annual pro worlds, I don't even know what that ends up looking like, unless you win both of them the same year.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think? What's it like competing, getting close to that 40-year-old mark? I mean, how do you feel?
I'll be 41 this year.
40? Oh, you are 40 now.
Yeah.
So how does it feel?
It hurts mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking about this with Beach. I said, so last year, when I came back when I retired from pros, I came back like 3 years later, and was still like 265, 270, and I was throwing pretty well. And I was thinking, well, I'll just come back and just tear up the Masters circuit. And I remember being out in the field throwing hammer, and I was actually getting over 100 feet, which was great for me as a pro, let alone a master. And I felt something tear off right off the front of my leg and my pelvis. And so I was out that season. Came back last year and did okay. And I just tore it again. So it's like, I'm done. I'm not going to do it anymore. It's not worth breaking myself for no money. And so now I can go around and talk to people about it instead of actually doing it. But I went out, and last year I threw a 77-foot wafer distance. And I was like, wow, that's great, 77 feet. And then I thought, my PR's 10 feet further than that. So no matter how hard I train, I'm never going to be anywhere near that.
Right. And that's the other thing. Maybe that's the answer to your question. How does it feel, about getting older and looking at those things? I mean, I've made peace with that. I mean, there's a time where like I will probably never hit another PR ever again.
Right. Yeah.
And that's okay. I've got different goals, right? I mean, I'm not trying to be that guy anymore. We talk about some of the stuff that's going on. Like, I went into this off season, and my primary goal was to lose some weight.
Well,
I'm 40. I'm trying to get closer to to 280.
Right.
There's no reason for me to be that heavy anymore, not at this age. And stay as strong as I can while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And what I want out of my last year, I want to be competitive, and I want to have fun.
Right.
I want to stay healthy. Yeah. That's what when the games wrap up, when I text my wife and I'm like, hey, finished here, had a great time. I'm in one piece. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big realization when I just dropped down. I'm 226 right now.
Damn it, man.
And
You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was like, why do I need to be this big?
Yeah.
I was 250 at Christmas, and I'm just like, okay, why do I, what do I need this for? So I'm having fun just training, and trying to stay lean and not eat like an asshole. And I think it's important. It's kind of hard for us to realize after this many years, you don't need to be gigantic and feel like you have to poop all the time.
Yeah. Well, so that was kind of moving from strongman to the games was a bit of a natural transition for that for me. Because I never saw 340 on the scale when I was doing strongman.
Right.
But I have a suspicion that I got north of 340 a couple times.
How tall are you?
6'4".
Yeah.
Yeah. But especially that when weights were getting so the contests were so heavy, you had to be. I mean, look at the guys that are competing here this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, they're all monsters. There's probably not a guy that's less than 350 that's going to be on the stage this weekend.
We saw Magnus walk through here, and I had him on the podcast last year at this time, but he walked through here, and then Bill Linden walked by probably 10 minutes later. And I know Magnus is 15 years out of the sport, but even if Magnus was the size he was, he wouldn't turn your head like Bill would. I mean, Bill looks like a mutant, and it's a whole different ball game now.
Oh yeah.
And I try to talk to strongman athletes now and say, hey, there's a reason why we have weight classes. You don't have to be 400 pounds, especially if you're 6 feet tall.
Yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot easier to tie my shoes now.
Right.
That's nice.
You can breathe and do things. And you seem to be like you're pretty active with the kids and everything and their sports and.
Yeah.
What's your boy doing weightlifting wise?
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. We did a meet earlier in January. I think I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think he clean and jerked like 82 maybe and snatched 69, I think.
How old is he?
He's 13.
That's the same age as my kid. That's great.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that's
so he's cleaned 100. He's just trying to get the jerk down. Yeah.
Where's he training at?
With Tim Swords in Houston. So it's kind of it's a weird deal. Like Tim is an amazing coach. 35 plus years in the in the sport. He's Coach Sarah Robles, an Olympic medalist.
Right.
And he does it out of his 2-car garage. Yeah. So
I always see him. I didn't know if that was your garage.
I know that's Tim's. Yeah, that's Tim's garage.
Yeah.
So that's where he's trained forever.
What's that like? My son is big into throwing, but I try to stay out of his program as much as possible. So this kid who works for me threw for me in high school, then he threw for Judd Logan in college. So I've kind of said, he's yours. And I work really hard to stay out of it. Is that tough? Or
I try and do the same thing.
Yeah.
I really, if I could do what I wanted, I would not coach him at all.
Right.
Because I think it's better for both of us.
I do
right?
too.
And I wound up coaching him in football just because, one, the average coaching you're getting in youth football is bad to begin with, and then like the coaching, like lineman specific coaching you're getting is even worse.
Yeah.
Because and look, you guys are doing the best they can. They're all volunteers. They're doing the best they can. I just happen to know a lot about one very specific thing. So I wound up doing it. But throwing, he's throwing now. This is his first year throwing for the middle school, and we went out and worked on Sunday just the very basics, right? But I'm going to try and make some trips to New Braunfels, have him spend some time with Spencer. Somebody who really knows what they're doing. So you can at least get some good fundamentals going into maybe to finish out this season or go into high school.
Yeah, you're gonna deal with high school weight rooms now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I let my son go for a few workouts, and they were doing such crazy shit. And luckily, he's been lifting ever since he was able to walk, so he kind of realized it without me having to be the guy who's saying this is crazy. So he went and had a talk with the coach and just said, hey, I'm in indoor track, which he was. And he said, I'm going to have to focus on that right now. So hopefully I can keep him out of that weight room for as long as possible. And like you said, these guys are well-meaning amateurs.
Yes.
They're trying their best. God love them. They're doing it for very little money. But, they were just like, I guarantee they wouldn't slack this hard creating their offense.
Right. And see, like, I have less sympathy for it at the high school level.
Yeah.
Because these guys are, like, most of those guys are, like, coaches, right? Like, some of them are full-time coaches. The other ones, they do a lot of it. And the reason I'm not as sympathetic is the information's out there.
Yes.
The information is available for free in most cases or at a very reasonable cost, in other cases. So the way I see it, like, if this is something you want to do, if you want to get your kids, stronger and make them better athletes, just learn how to do it.
Yeah.
You're choosing to be ignorant.
Right.
And that's what I have a hard time with.
If you got hired in there to do a strength and conditioning program, and I think this is good, and we do have high school coaches listening. If you got hired to go in there and you had, it's year one of this program. What are you doing with them? Like, what should these coaches be doing? There's so much information out there and so much nonsense and contradictory information. What would you have them do? Just off the top of your head.
Man, I think, I've been a big fan of conjugate programming, but I'm not sure. I don't know if you could do a conjugate program with that many kids.
Right.
I don't know. I've never tried training anybody other than myself.
Right.
I think something like like 5-3-1 or like any kind of simple block periodization would work great.
Yeah.
Something built around the main lifts. You're squatting, you're benching, you're deadlifting, you're pressing overhead.
Yes.
And I feel strongly about the Olympic lifts. I think there's benefits in doing that, even if you're just doing the pulls.
Right.
If you don't want to teach the catch and the clean and the catch and the snatch,
Sure.
Totally get that. You can get all the benefit of the lift without catching it.
Yeah. The foundation program we run, I'm waiting for some high school coach to jump on it and pay the $25 a month for it and have a baseline for his team, because that's all we either bench or military press.
Sorry.
He's trying to get his legs in.
Sorry.
Bench or military press, front squat or back squat, and deadlift or clean. And we just mix it up every week. You don't need much more than that.
Right.
They should be able to jump. They should be able to do box jumps and run a mile and be able to do some sprints. And I think they put too much. Either there's no thought into it at all, or they've got some coaches just knee deep in the internet, just trying to get them to do walking lunges with the barbells on their back. And they had Hayden squatting in this crazy way where the spotter would put his hand on the guy's chest and the other one on his ass and squat up and down with them. And it's like, what are we doing here? Are you
Right.
actually going to save him if the bar falls?
Yeah, it's not that complicated. I mean,
is.
especially not like for kids that age.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to get stronger. I
The
mean,
simpler it is, the better.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I went and saw Jim Wendler talk at Swiss Convention, and it was by far the best part of the whole symposium was his talk on what he was doing for his high school football team. And they would back squat on Monday, and in between each set of back squat, they were doing dumbbell incline benches.
Yep.
Right.
And the next day they were benching, in between each squat they were doing goblet squats. And then the third day I think they did trap bar deadlifts,
Yep.
and they did their sprints, or they ran a mile.
Perfect.
You know, it's like, what else do you need at that level? And they went from like a 0 and 10 team to state championships
Yeah.
or state playoffs in 3 years. Which,
Yep.
You know, I'm sure it wasn't all from the weightlifting, but it had to have helped. You know.
Yeah.
You ever think about working with linemen or anything?
I have.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy that. I mean, especially the coaching. You know, coaching the kids was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have considered it, but I mean, I have enough responsibilities now,
What do you
man.
do otherwise? Like, what do you do for a full-time job?
I'm a business development director for an industrial construction company.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're nationwide company.
Are you
It's
traveling a lot for that, or?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm normally gone a couple nights a week.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, that's gotta be rough. And then when you're throwing too.
yeah, it makes just training challenging. You know, then
Yeah.
trying to get out and throw on top of it. So it's really so that's why getting into these things that that I'm doing just for fun. I really don't have a whole lot of time for that.
Yeah.
Just the throwing is what I do just for
Right,
fun.
right, yeah. I just started, and people are already tired of hearing me talk about this. I just started jiu-jitsu 3 weeks ago, and that's been humbling.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Super humbling, because you go in there and you think, I'm just gonna fuck this guy up, and they have an answer for everything
Oh.
you want to do to them, you know.
Yeah.
And they're not like high-level guys or like
No.
blue belts who are choking the shit out of you. But it's fun. I'm all bruised up. Busted my lip last
Yeah.
night, but just something new to learn. you
Yeah,
know?
no, I think that's cool. You continue to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So and that's one of the things that I guess I'm looking at now. Like as I phase this out, what do I do next?
Right.
I've always been an athlete since I was a kid. Always had some sort of competitive outlet.
Right.
So I know myself well enough to know that I've got to find something.
Yeah.
I just don't know what that thing is now.
And that's where I was.
Yeah.
And I started talking to a guy who'd been on the podcast, and I was like, man, you mind if I come and just check out a class? And then within like 2 classes, I was hooked. It was just, and just like technique for throwing, you go down that rabbit hole. And now
Yeah.
I'm watching videos on YouTube and downloading podcasts and all this stuff. It's the same shit, just a different style. How old are you, Chuck?
32,
32. So you got still plenty of time.
Oh yeah.
allegedly.
Yeah.
I got a couple knees that might beg to differ.
Yeah, yeah. That's once you get done, you have to figure out something to keep moving. There's not much you can do. We got a beard here too.
All right.
Say the name
Yeah,
of
look
your
at this guy. He needs that.
Maestro's Classic.
Maestro's Classic.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome,
It's
guys.
beard
Yeah.
oil and
It's actually beard wash, beard butter, beard oil. You got to keep it clean and conditioned. I can tell you guys are using soap or shampoo. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Well, I haven't opened it yet, but I bought a bottle of yours at Marshall's.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
We put Wise Men's blend out there, so it's the frankincense.
Okay.
scent.
That might have been what it is. Yeah. I just got it literally a couple days ago.
This is our best seller right here, Mark of the Man. It's got bergamot and black pepper. Basically, guys, sulfate-free wash is the key. If
Cool.
you're using soap on your face, that dries it the fuck out. We're white guys. Our skin's dry to begin with. So when your beard's dry, your pores close up, your hair gets brittle, the dead ends come faster, and you look old.
So check
just
out
using this is gonna
Maestro's
make you
beard
look-
wash and beard
Right on.
butter.
Oh, you guys
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we're
free
live.
advertising.
We're live on
Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah,
I didn't know that,
That's
man.
perfect.
Where we
Yeah,
going?
great timing.
This is the Refined Savage podcast.
This is Savage then, so I said some
Yeah.
savage things.
We've got
All the
about
listeners.
90% bearded listeners.
Yeah.
Fantastic, man. Let's let's stay in touch. Our Instagram is on the back of the sample,
I asked you earlier, I'm going to get a hold of you, so we'll get a hold
and
of you.
maybe do some work with your podcast and all that good
That'd be
stuff.
great, yeah.
I love the hat. It's
Thank
Mark
you.
of a Maestro. The Maestro is the beard. It's always growing. You shave it off. It comes back the next day.
Right on.
It says, fuck you, I'm not going anywhere. Just keep going, moving forward.
Awesome. All right,
Thanks,
so
man.
we'll be in touch. All right, have a good one. That was Maestro's Beard Care, so check those guys out. Impromptu sponsor.
Yeah, there you go.
Refined Savage. So what are you guys doing tonight?
Don't know.
Yeah.
We're trying to get this wrapped up, see what the guys are up to.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll figure out something to get into.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this up and let you guys get moving. And what time you start tomorrow?
No one knows.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
So we'll just get together.
Yeah,
whenever
right.
you show up,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
throw.
That's been kind of the running joke the last few years of the pro class. They can't do it without us.
Right,
So.
that's true. Yeah, that's great. All right, well, cool. I'm glad you guys decided to stop in and do this and spend a little time with us.
Absolutely.
And, sure, we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, man.
Sounds
for
great.
sure.
All right, guys. Thank you. This has been the Refined Savage. See ya.
Hope you guys dug that one. Nice interview with Andy and Chuck. Make sure you head on over to therefinedsavage.com and check out all the gear. Support the show so we can keep going out and getting great guests like Andy and Chuck on the show. Next up is going to be my lovely and talented wife, Erin Renee. We taped one while we were down at St. Pete's Beach, and we just had a couple cocktails and went out on the beach and recorded a podcast for you. So hopefully you'll dig that one.